fitness, conditioning, body tuning, sports. A new program. This year, we bring you a brand new Tambayan. Topics on fitness, health, and their benefits. Tips and tricks, techniques, guides, wellness. Only on FWSZ.
Hey guys, good afternoon and welcome back to Fitness and Wellness Sports Zone. We are with Kuya Dino right here. Hello Kuya Dino. Thank you for coming.
No, thanks for having me.
And so, Kuya Dino here is a power lifter and what else do you do, Kuya Dino?
Other modalities that include my training, Olympic weightlifting. Right now I'm focusing on Olympic weightlifting. Admittedly, until very recently, more than 60% of my training volume mainly consists of kettlebells, steel mace, some calisthenics, some all caps dun sa some. All caps.
All caps. Some, which means a lot. Kuya Dino, a while ago you were teaching Carlo and I basics in the what do you call this?
Olympic rings?
Olympic
I'm sorry,
rings.
Olympic rings. I'm sorry, gymnastics rings.
Gymnastics rings.
Yeah,
okay.
yeah.
So we have gymnastic rings in the gym, but all we know is pull up. You know, and Kuya Dino showed us the basics of what grip is that?
Oh, the false grip.
How to properly pull yourself and do a muscle up and then the dip and what do you call it? The one you
Skin the cat.
Skin the cat.
Yeah. I'm actually really impressed that both you and what's his name, Carlo.
Carlo.
Yeah. I'm actually really impressed that both you and Carlo, after I cleaned up the grip, you were able to get your first muscle ups. So congratulations to both of you.
It's hard.
Yeah. What took me 3 weeks to learn, it took you it took you 1 day.
What is the benefits of doing powerlifting or weightlifting in other sports? Because other people, they say that if you do weights, you're gonna be slower. If you do weights, you're gonna what do you call this? It's like stopping your body movement from moving smoothly.
Okay. All right. Okay. Now, I'm going to approach this question on from the perspective of periodization. Okay.
Yes.
So those of you who don't know, periodization is basically how athletes, both professional, both competitive, and recreational, like myself. I'm not a competitive athlete. Let's make that clear. Periodization is a way of scheduling training. It doesn't have to be weight training. It could be jiu-jitsu. It could be wrestling, and any kind of sport. It's breaking training up into smaller blocks. Usually we call them microcycles. Small, in increments of 4 weeks, 8 weeks, and after those weeks, either we change other variables like intensity, exercise selection, sport-specific movement refinement. Now, about weight training being a sort of catalyst for unnecessary hypertrophy or unnecessary muscle building to hinder movement. I think the complaints come from trainees who mix their weight training, along with their sport specific training. So although there's no problem with that. I mean, there has to be a place for both. I mean, but again, it really depends on the training phase. So let's have an example.
Let's make an athlete for like a training program for a basketball player, volleyball player, an MMA fighter, and a sprinter.
All right, let's go with MMA fighter because it's kind of close to what it's kind of close to what I'm familiar with. All right,
Okay.
so MMA fighter, actually not even MMA fighter. Let's just say grappler.
Okay,
Let's just say grappler. Okay. Now grappling, be it wrestling, jiu-jitsu, sambo, catch wrestling. I don't know if that's a thing here in the Philippines. I don't know if that's a thing here. So there are a lot of technical movements that require skill. Okay, there are a lot of now assuming that the athlete was preparing for competition. So the athlete should focus on refining those technical movements. Now, what does the athlete, so oftentimes, what would be the limiting factor for a lot of athletes? A lot of combat athletes. It's usually one of two things. It's usually, technique aside, it's usually one of two things. It's cardiovascular endurance, right? So yung madaling mapagod, right? So, but more often than not, 6, 7, 8 times out of 10, it's force production. It's strength. It's the ability to produce force. So the thing with strength is it takes, depending on a person's training age, for a competitive athlete who has never actually lifted, it's kind of hard to imagine, but for a competitive combat athlete who has never actually lifted weights before, developing strength is, contrary to what most people think, it's actually a very quick, it's a relatively quicker process than what most people think. It just requires, the right programming, linear periodization, adding weight to the bar, adding a heavier kettlebell in week to week to week to week to week. Now, that goes on, so the introduction of weights, so the introduction of, the basic four, let's just say the basic three, the squat, bench, the deadlift, the introduction of those at heavy loads. We probably may have to do that for, 8 to 12 weeks. Now, at 8 to 12 weeks, the athlete will have probably developed a respectable level of strength and force production, even relative to his weight class, because again, MMA fighters, grapplers, we compete depending on our weight class, right? Yes. So we're not really after that. We just need to lift a little bit above our weight classes. So we're not really chasing after that 1 rep max deadlift. We're not chasing after that as combat, for combat sports. You're not really chasing that 1 rep max deadlift, that 1 rep max back squat or front squat, or you're also not chasing that 1 rep max bench press or shoulder press. Nor are we chasing the 1 rep max on the snatch, not 1 rep max on the clean and jerk. We'll probably talk about that later. So once the athlete has developed these respectable levels of strength, the athlete will probably have to reduce the volume a little bit. So if we had the athlete strength training three, I would say 3, because again, with the jiu-jitsu, that's probably 3-4 times a week, right?
Yes.
So, if it's 3 times a week, we'd probably have to slide it down to 2 times a week, with maybe lesser volume, maybe lesser sets, maybe lesser reps, just to maintain that baseline of that base level of respectable strength relative to his or her weight class. So, at that point. It's not, because again, MMA fighters, grapplers, another thing to factor in is nutrition.
Yes.
A lot of people may not know this, but combat sport athletes operate on a calorie deficit. Operate on a calorie deficit. When you have to cut weight for competition, it's not fun. It's not fun. Okay.
It's not at all.
Yeah, it's not fun, and that's a problem. And that's a problem in and of itself, because again, to develop strength, you need to develop tissue. You need to develop muscle, and you cannot do that on a calorie deficit.
Yes.
You need to do that with a calorie surplus. I mean, that's the reason why strongmen powerlifters have really big frames. It's because they take in a lot of these calories that have to support them for what they need to do for their sport. For that reason, strength training or weight training for the MMA fighter, for the grappler, for the striker, it's really different, because you have to factor in those other things like nutrition. And again, a calorie deficit is enough. It is enough to elicit a lot of stress on the body. And that brings forth another consideration: recovery. Also, hydration comes into play, because again,
yes,
when we cut weight, we dehydrate. We dehydrate. I don't know. I never dehydrated. It's trade secret. So there. So that's probably how I would do it. So in summary, it's probably 4 to 8 weeks. It's probably 4 to 8 weeks of relatively higher. Not super high, like maybe 5 sets of 5 on each movement. Just 3 movements. Okay, basics. Just 3 movements, with increasing the weight for those 4 to 8 weeks, or 12 weeks, and then after the 12th week, reduce the volume, maintain the weight, maybe increase it every now and then, just for fun, just for variety, and then leading up to the fight, not as much barbell training. Also, maybe on the mats, maybe on the bag, not as much. Not as much on the intensity. We dial it back on the intensity because again, calorie deficit, dehydration. When these things occur and we expect intensity out of the athlete, the risk for injury goes up dramatically. And of course, if the athlete's making money out of showing up to a fight, well, that's not something you can have as a coach. So.
Yeah.
So yeah, so that's how I would do it for an MMA athlete. That's how I would do it, or a grappler. That's how I would do it.
Oh,
that's
okay.
how I would do it. Right?
So you're saying that weights is actually important.
It is.
for
It's very
every
important.
athlete.
Very important for every athlete. I mean, don't get me wrong. I don't think every athlete should. As I mentioned this earlier, I don't think every athlete, or every person, or every trainee has to chase after that. That competition 1 rep max back squat,
Yes.
1 rep max deadlift, 1 rep max bench press. I don't bench, so 1 rep max bench press. But everybody has. I mean, I'm gonna say, I will say it. Everybody has to squat. Everybody has to. Well, I don't want to say deadlift, but pick something up off the ground. Everybody has to pick something up off the ground. Properly. Yeah, that's another thing. Properly. Everybody needs to learn how to push something away from them.
Yes.
So yeah, weights, whether it's in the form of a barbell or your own body weight, yeah, it's important. It's important for
No
everybody.
matter how heavy or light it is, as long as you can manage the weight and you can do maximum reps.
Okay.
As
All right.
many reps as
Yeah.
possible.
All right. That's a really complex topic. Rep schemes. But there's a. I don't know any studies about it, but it seems to work. It seems to work for everybody. Numbers have stood the test of time. When a person does maximum reps, okay. Well, what do we mean when we say maximum reps? We're usually thinking of what? Anything beyond 15 reps. What do you mean?
Until the body gets sore.
Okay. So until the body gets sore. So until lactic acid buildup.
Yeah.
All right. So when we try to train in such a way that we chase after that burn, right, so to speak, we chase after that burn. We go beyond the 15 to 20 rep range, right? Actually, what ends up being trained is, I don't recommend it, but what ends up being trained is muscular endurance. And but in my opinion, what ends up getting trained more is threshold, force production threshold, and muscle endurance threshold. Muscle endurance threshold is basically how far can you go? How many moves can you? How many reps of a certain movement can you do? Now, why is this important? Well, for the average person, I take like me for example, like for the average person like me, no, it's not really important. In fact, training that way every session to session, has actually been shown to speed up metabolic aging. So again, it's for the regular person like me, okay? For the regular person like me. So training to failure all the time, training to get sore all the time, it's actually not healthy. It's not very healthy.
For non-competing people.
For non-competitive athletes, but for non-competitive trainees, not athletes, but non-competitive trainees. But in an athlete's training program, I would say there's a place for it. I just don't think it's all the time.
Yes.
I just don't think it's all the time.
Maybe just before a competition, or maybe before, while prepping for a specific event.
I think
maybe a month before.
for me that would be a coaching prerogative. It's really up to the coach. But again, I just don't think it's all the time.
Maybe just once a week.
No, I wouldn't even say once a week. I'd probably
Once
say.
every 3 weeks.
I mean, I don't know. I've never been a fighter, but I think what MMA fighters go through, what combat sport athletes go through, it's stressful in and of itself. So and progress takes place not during the stressful event. It takes place after recovery. Right? Now, putting so much stress beyond what an athlete can recover from, I on paper, I really don't see how the athlete can improve. But again, in a competitive athlete's training program, what it really trains is that mental threshold. Right? But again, there's a time to be tough.
Yes.
Just not all the time.
It's
It's not all the time.
Smart.
Yeah. You just got to be smart about it. Person's got to be smart about it. Yeah.
Okay. Since we talked about kettlebells also a while ago, a lot of people here right now are looking for home workouts and what can they do at home, and the most unique way to work out is with a kettlebell. And
yeah.
you can, and like what you told to me a while ago, with just one kettlebell you can do a lot of things.
Oh yeah, yeah.
So what are the importance of kettlebell? What kind of exercises can you do, and how can the people get some too?
Oh right,
Since
okay.
I tried looking for kettlebells in sports houses in SM or what, but they don't have
They
any.
sell fast, right?
Yeah.
They sell fast. Yeah, they're gold nowadays. I mean, with the lockdown and everything, they're just gold nowadays. That's why. Okay, I'll answer the first question first. The importance or benefits of kettlebells. Okay, first of all, a kettlebell is a weighted implement. Okay, it's a weighted implement. Okay, now a kettlebell allows you to perform exercises under load. Okay, and the beautiful thing about kettlebells, I mean, try to compare. I mean, what other weighted implement is there? So we think barbells, right? A barbell is as effective. Barbells are as effective as they go when it comes to packing on size, strength, symmetry. Dare I say? But I mean, let's face it, they're pricey.
Yeah.
They're pricey. They take up a lot of space. Even if you've got your own car, are you really going to take that barbell and a set of plates and bring it to the park? No.
Yeah.
Right? No. I mean, it's kettlebells allow you to train with resistance, not maximum resistance, but it allows you to train with resistance, and it also requires the least amount of space. I mean,
It's handy.
yeah, it's very handy. It's very handy. I mean, whenever, even with ano bang pinaka space intensive na movement? Turkish get-ups, for example. If those of you who don't know, a Turkish get-up is you're lying down, you're holding the kettlebell, you press it up, and then you try to get up with the kettlebell pressed out, and then you finish in this position, and then you get back, and then you basically reverse the movement, and then you press it back down, and then you set it back down. So Turkish get-up. Yeah, I hate doing those. Yeah. But even with really space intensive kettlebell movements, you don't need a lot of space. You could do it in a really small room.
Yeah.
You can do it in a really small room. Okay, so yeah, those are the benefits of kettlebells. The next benefit of a kettlebell is something that I just learned when I got my first 24 kilo kettlebell. It's something I learned. If you try to a lot of the movements for kettlebells, you really just hold it on one side.
Yeah.
Okay, you hold it on one side. So let's say a 24 kilo kettlebell. If you're holding it in your rack position, the weight is here, and it's also pulling you that way. So just to stand up, your core muscles on the opposite side need to fire as well. So there's that cross-body. I mean, exercise physiologists call it cross-body stabilization. It's how your core. It's how your core contracts whenever there's an offset load on your opposite side of your body, just to maintain balance. So kettlebells train that as well. So every movement you do, so long as it's not a kettlebell swing. I mean, a kettlebell swing, you're holding it with two hands. Right? Every movement performed already becomes an ab exercise. Yeah, because so let's take the basic.
You always need your core.
Exactly, you need your core. Your core has to. Even if you're not doing anything, your core is firing just to prevent you from falling in the other direction. So you're stable. So as you clean, as you perform a kettlebell clean, as you perform a kettlebell snatch, as you perform a kettlebell press, even just rack walks, kettlebells here, you're walking, that's a lot of core contractions on the opposite side of your body. So yeah, so you can get a lot done in kettlebells in a short span of time, and every movement becomes a core exercise. All of them.
I've seen people who are carrying like 100 plus kilograms kettlebells, and like it doesn't look like they're carrying something. Is there like kind of a physics behind it?
Physics behind which movement? Like which movement?
They're just carrying what you call it. They were just putting it in their shoulder, and then later they're
A clean and press. Oh yeah. The clean and press. Yeah. It's first of all, it's actually one of my favorite lifts. One of my favorite lifts with a
What are the
kettlebell.
benefits of it?
The benefits of it. Okay, the clean and press. Okay, first of all, the clean. Okay, for those of you who don't know, a clean is any movement. Kettlebell, med ball. Yeah. Med ball, sandbag, barbell. Yeah. Well, it's really with a barbell, but A clean is any movement where you bring a weight from the ground to your shoulders or to a place close to your shoulders. So in the case of a kettlebell clean, you're basically you swing it with one arm behind you in between your legs, and then you pull it, and then as it swings and on the upswing you pull the kettlebell back up, and then it's in this position. That is the clean. The press is when you brace and then you press the kettlebell up. Now, benefits of the clean and press. Well, number one, it's one exercise, two movements. So a lot of work in a short span of time. Number two, it's also pretty complete when you think about it. It's probably one of the most complete kettlebell exercises you can perform because
Legs, core.
legs
arms.
legs not so, but well, legs not so because you always have the squat for that, right? Because you have the goblet squat for that, right? And so for kettlebell, so for the clean and press, so on the pole we get the clean itself. So on the way up, that's a core contraction, that's a shrug. I mean, depending on how you do it, it's a shrug. So the shrug works your traps, it works your lateral deltoids, it works your not the lateral deltoids. You'd be doing just the upper back, the upper back, yeah. And then on the way up, to keep, again, as I mentioned earlier, to keep your body stable, you'd have that's a lot of core contractions on the other side. So core, upper back, lower back, glutes, hamstrings. That's just the clean. For the press, you have to press this way. So automatically that's your shoulder. Now, a lot of people will say that, a barbell press. You could do that with a barbell press. You could do that with a dumbbell press. The cool thing about a kettlebell press is this. With a barbell, so I think better if I turn. Yeah. So with a barbell, your weighted implement is here. It's here. So, I'm sorry. So there's really just one way to press up, and sometimes you gotta clear your head sometimes. So it's really just here. Now, pressing this way all the time can have an effect on your rotator cuff. Yeah, specifically the rotator cuff. I don't really know why, but in the case of a kettlebell, you can kind of you don't press it just this way. You press it in this way, or you press it this way. You have that corkscrew spinning of the press, and that particular biomechanically, that particular movement, that particular motion of pressing the kettlebell up is actually really good for your shoulder. Even with I remember this was in 2000. I think this was in 2018. I attempted a 185 jerk. No clean, just jerk. 185 jerk with a barbell, and I made the jerk, didn't miss, but as the bar went down, I noticed that there was a little bit of tension in my right shoulder. For some reason, I couldn't barbell press, but for some reason, when I did a kettlebell press, a strict kettlebell press with 20 kilograms. I know 20 kilograms does not sound like much, but if it's on one side of your body and you're, it's different. I don't know, for some reason, no pain on the shoulder. No pain in the shoulder at all. So since the kettlebell allows for more freedom of movement, it allows your shoulders for more freedom of movement. It can actually allow you to train the muscles you can train only with a press, minus the shoulder pain. So it's actually better for your shoulder. If to those of you who are skeptical about it, try getting your shoulder injured, and then try getting your shoulder. Yeah, try getting your shoulder in. No, you don't even have to be injured. Like just tense or tight and press a kettlebell. I guarantee you, you're not gonna feel it you're not gonna feel the tension as you press the kettlebell up. I guarantee you.
Okay, so kettlebells are really a weight-friendly weights.
Yeah. They're actually really beginner. That's another thing. They're really beginner friendly too.
What is the best weight to start for the kettlebell?
That's a hard.
Maybe for someone who plays basketball.
Oh.
Since I have a lot of friends who plays basketball, and they use always their arm for shooting and stuff.
Okay. All right. Athlete with a history of competitive sports. I don't know. For males could probably start with, I would say 16. Every time I've been asked that question so many times, like, what's the best way to start with? And
the ones here in the gym, I think it's.
Oh, they're fine. They're fine. They're fine. For the people for what you guys do, I think it's fine.
Oh,
I think
okay,
it's
okay.
fine. You don't have to go super heavy with. A lot of people have asked me that question, like, what's the best weight to start with? And I hope they're not watching right now because what I'm gonna say is opposite to my recommendation before. Start with a weight. Start with a weight that you can do the most movements with. Start with a weight that you can do the most movements with. I don't care if a guy can swing 32 kilograms. If he can't press 32 kilograms, that person should start with something lower.
Oh,
That person
okay.
should start with something lower. If a person can swing 24 kilograms, but probably might also be able to press it for a couple of reps, might be able to snatch it, but can't do a strict Turkish get-up with it, probably should start lower. So the indicators. So think of the 6 basic movements. So kettlebell snatch, kettlebell swing, proper swing, kettlebell swing, snatch, swing, clean, press, Turkish get-up, goblets, squat of any kind. If you can do all of those weights with a certain weight of a kettlebell, that's the weight you should start with. So if you happen to be in a sports shop, do all of those movements, and if you can do all of those movements, that's probably the right kettlebell for you to start with. Yeah, it'd be funny though, like somebody doing a Turkish get-up.
Make sure you buy it. Make sure you buy it.
Yeah, make sure you buy it. Yeah, make sure you buy it. But again, just if you can do all of those 6 movements with that one implement, that's probably the right weight for you to start with. Okay, no point in going too heavy if you can only do one movement with it. So,
Okay.
yeah,
So one weight for all of the workouts.
one weight for all of the.
So if you
workouts.
can do a heavier weight in one workout, it's not that.
If not really the workout, but one movement.
Yeah,
One
movement,
movement. Yeah,
one
one
movement.
movement. So
What if you can do, for example, you have like 24 kilogram, you can do it only for one movement, and then the rest it should be lighter than the 24 kilograms.
yeah, exactly. If you can do one movement with the 24, but you can't do the other movements with that 24, you probably need to go with a lighter kettlebell. You probably need to take it down a notch. So, yeah.
Okay. So, Kuya, do you have anything else to say to your? Look, you see, you have a lot of fans there.
Really? I don't.
And,
Where am I looking?
How heavy should
I think I just answered that question.
yeah. Meron pa yung kanina eh.
Oh, my man Cinder, currently watching with some shoulder pain.
What can you say to your fans right there who are watching right now?
All right, cool. All
Mama
right.
is impressed.
Okay.
Blood loss is real, Anyo.
Blood loss is real. Who said that? Who said that? Blood loss is real.
Chaos goes game.
Oh, that guy's a pro gamer.
Oh.
Yeah, I'm following his channel. That guy's a pro gamer. Anyway, so all right. Final message. All right. So as you guys, as everybody may be aware of already, we're in the middle of a pandemic. All right.
Yeah.
We're in the middle of a pandemic. The vaccine rollout is slow. Government response has been, how do I say it? Less than stellar.
Very.
Less than stellar. No, I mean, I don't want to be red tagged or anything, but the point is, yes, there is an aspect of this. There's an aspect of the whole pandemic problem that we need to put down to our trust in the authorities and the system. But I don't know. But there are so many things that we can do as individuals, and one of them is physical activity. I mean, a recent study publicized by the New York Times. It says active people are a lot less likely. I think the number was they set the number at about 90%. It's above 90%. 90% of those who engaged in physical activity did not develop any of the symptoms, not even severe. They did not develop any symptoms of COVID-19. So I guess our biggest takeaway from that would be just try to get fit. I mean, you don't have to sign up for an Olympic weightlifting program. You don't need you don't need to get like a whole rack of kettlebells. You don't need to just do something. Get fit. I mean, move, walk more, take the stairs. Take the stairs, lift something. Okay, all right. So I guess that's my. So yeah, I guess
Stay
that's
away
my.
from a lot
It's
of
my
people.
little. Yeah, yeah,
So, thank you so much, Kuya Gino.
yeah. No
Um,
probs, no probs.
Maraming gusto magpa-shoutout eh.
Oh yeah.
Who are they? Okay. Shoutout mo daw muna, Kuya Gino.
All right. Who is this? All right. Who is this? It's me, Jay.
Kiat-tan.
Kiat. Kiat. Oh, hey, okay, hey, Kiat-tan. Yeah.
JJ.
Oh,
Hi, JJ.
oh, yeah.
Hi, Yana.
JJ.
Yana.
Oh, Yana.
Hi, Kuya Dino. Are you doing
Are
some
you do?
coaching?
Oh, funny. Okay. Do I do coaching? I don't really want to call it coaching. I don't really want to call it coaching because
Tutoring.
because for one, I just don't do it. I just don't do it. I just don't do it. But if I'm lifting and somebody sees me lifting and happens to be curious about what I'm doing, I'm more than happy to show technique. I'm more than happy to answer questions, and I'm not going to charge anyone for it. So that's it. Just to get the word across. Wilfredo is talking. Hey, Dad! That's my dad.
Oh.
Yeah. Appreciate if you can give me a regimen for my abs. A big stomach. Yeah, he does have one. Yeah. It runs in the family. It runs in the family. It runs in the family. So I don't know. Just watch your food, Dad. Just watch your food. Okay, I've been telling you since 2013. Just watch your food. Okay.
Take the stairs, legit.
Sandra May Ordonez, take the stairs. Yep. It is. Kuya, bakit more than 6,000 steps a day pero di ako fit?
Baka ate, kumakain ka ng samgyupsal after or my milk tea.
Okay. All right. It seems like an innocent enough question, but I actually like this question because the answer is so nuanced. It's, what do you mean by fit? What do you mean by fit? Well, because for example, if we take the average person, let's take me for example. I'm a freelance I'm a freelance web content writer. I'm also a freelance web designer. I can go to the market. I can carry groceries. That means I'm fit enough to do those things, right? Right?
Yeah.
So what do you mean by fit? Or do you mean person with six-pack abs, person with
maybe.
big blocky shoulders, right? So
Maybe.
kind of depends.
Just watch your food.
Yeah. Or 6,000 steps a day? I don't know. I think that's a pretty good baseline level of fitness. 6,000 steps a day is a pretty good baseline level of fitness. I have to count my steps. I've never tried counting my steps. How about you?
No.
Yeah. No, you're fit. You're fit. Trust me. The fights you go through, the fighting, your fights, the training.
A while ago eating shawarma.
No, you probably need it. No. You'll burn it off. You'll burn it off.
Because a while ago when Kuya Dino came here in the gym, he saw me eating shawarma rice, and I actually got 2 shawarma rice, and I was eating the 2. And
Wait, I only saw you eating one. Okay.
okay, so
Wait to admit.
I ordered from Food Panda because I was hungry, and then
Yeah.
okay, I'm gonna get 2. And I just finished the first one, then the second one, then you came in. And we're just gonna talk about fitness, and I'm eating unhealthy food. Like,
Well, it's not. Well, it's not. Well, the thing with dieting, or I'm sorry, wrong word. I'm so sorry. Nutrition. The thing with nutrition, it's not. It's not what you do on that one day. It's what do you do for most of the 365 days of the year. I mean, take me for. For example. Right now, I eat a mainly plant-based diet. Yeah. No, not many people know that about me, but I eat a mainly plant-based diet. But if I have like last weekend, if I take my girlfriend out to Samgyeopsal, does that mean I went off the rails? No, not really, right?
just make sure, guys, you don't do it every day.
Yeah, exactly. Moderation. It works. It's sustainable.
Okay,
Moderation.
I'm safe. Anyway, thank you so much
Yep.
for your time, man.
Nope, no problem.
Thank you so much for
Glad to be here.
being
Thank you.
here,
Thank you.
and
Thank you for having me.
We will. I will also ask a lot of questions later.
No worries.
Anyway, guys, thank you so much too for watching. Please don't forget to stay safe. Don't forget to disinfect yourself whenever you go home. Don't forget to hydrate. Don't forget to drink and eat nutritious foods. And don't forget to like our Facebook page, FWSZ. our Instagram account, Fitness, Wellness, and Sports Zone. And we will see you guys again next week. Thank you so much. Have a great weekend. And happy Mother's Day to every mother out there.
Oh yeah, that's tomorrow. I forgot.
Yeah.
Almost forgot.
Thank you.
All right.
Fitness, conditioning, body tuning, sports, a new program. This year, we bring you a brand new Tambayan. Topics on fitness, health, and their benefits. Tips and tricks, techniques, guides, wellness. Only on FWS